Okay, welcome everyone. Apologies for looking a little bit green here. It's really bright sunshine, so I've had to pull these curtains across. So welcome to everyone. Hi to Roger, you're first on there, Richard, Patrick, I think that's Val, isn't it? Conrad, Eileen, that's everyone that's on video at the moment. Oh, Wendy's here. So welcome to everyone. Let's just do a quick alignment before we open into the space. It's always really good, I find, to just take 60 seconds at the start of any meeting or Zoom session just to fully land. And the easiest way to do that is to unfold everything, put your feet flat on the earth, straighten your spine, and take 3 long deep breaths in through the nose and blowing out slowly over the bottom lip. And you can really feel the shift in your body energy. You can feel the tingling of all of that chi coming in, and it's a very good way to calm the nervous system. So we're consciously dropping from the mind and the busyness into the heart, into the body, which has the true intelligence, coming out of everything, all of the things we were doing this morning, all of the rushing and the Kobe chasing. And coming out of everything that we're due to do this afternoon, so we can all be fully present in the now moment where the power is. So I welcome all voices on the call, so if you would like to come on and share what's going on for you, any opinions you may have on what's unfolding, things that are happening in your life, anything that you want to share, reflections, I would really welcome them in. So while I'm waiting for someone to put their hand up, or anyone to put their hand up, just to say we're headed into the new moon on Friday, so we're headed into the dark of the moon, which is a powerful time of year for manifestation, for setting new intentions. And quite often a new moon, that dark of the moon, will bring things out of the shadows. So it's a good time to do shadow work and healing. And also on the new moon, which is actually just after midnight on Friday at 9 degrees of Pisces. It's very good to put intentions into that new moon. So you can either do that at the moment of the new moon, or as you go to sleep, actually on Thursday night, because it's early hours of Friday morning. So when you go to sleep, just put an intention into your sleep and dreams, see what comes up, and in the morning repeat those intentions. Just to update you over here with my court, Kidderminster Magistrates Court shit show, I have now put in an appeal to the Crown Court. I want to thank Michael. I don't think Michael comes on these calls, but he sent me a lot of Ray's putting his thumbs up. Maybe we'll come to Ray for his 2 penneth on the justice system, because he sent me a really supportive message. But I did have some, it's really interesting to put it out there. So I did the 666 video, which drew a lot of response and a lot of advice. And I got some very helpful emails from a guy called Michael. And he sent me all of the paperwork, the form that you fill in to annul, basically to cancel that ruling, the magistrate's, district judge, strongman's, unlawful, in my humble opinion, ruling. And I have stated that I require a trial by jury at Derby Crown Court. So the appeal is actually held in the Crown Court. So it's like I'm inching my way towards Crown Court, but I have asserted my right to a trial by jury. So I'm going to hold the space and see what happens with that one. And just to say, I'll explain it to you while I'm waiting for someone to put their hand up to share. I appealed it firstly on points of procedure. In fact, I think I made 6 points. So I was given 6 points, so I put 6 points back in. Points of procedure, firstly, that the clerk to the court, in my opinion, committed perjury, because when the judge asked her, how does she plead? Because I refused to engage with the process, and I stated that I was there under duress and I didn't consent to the jurisdiction of the court, to which the district judge asked the clerk to the court, how does she plead? And the clerk to the court said, she pleads not guilty, my lord. And to which I said, no, I have never entered a plea. I have never consented to the jurisdiction of this court. So that's point number one. There was perjury. And secondly, that, and this was on the advice of Michael, that the judge broke his oath to the bar, his judicial oath. So if you look at the judicial oath, in there it says that a judge will use no fear or favour. And he used fear of, he threatened me with basically contempt of court, which is an imprisonable offence, which resulted in me being too terrified, like I had to leave the courtroom, and I told the clerk to the court I was too terrified to re-enter for fear of being imprisoned for contempt of court. So at that point, the proceeding shouldn't have ever happened, but at that point, the proceeding should have been stopped, but instead he ploughed through. So he was in breach of his judicial oath. So there were 2 points of procedure, and then there were two points of law. Firstly, that the legislation has legislated away my right to a trial by jury, when in fact it's a criminal offence, and therefore I have a lawful right to a trial by jury. Secondly, the legislation has legislated away my rights to remain silent, and therefore is unlawful. And the final 2 issues were points of principle. And these 2 points of principle, firstly, was that I had done a Freedom of Information Act request where I had established beyond any reasonable doubt that there is no link between speed cameras, speed fines and road safety. So in other words, it's a money-making scam. And second point of principle is that I am a safe driver. I've driven since I was 17. I'm now 60 years old. I've never had an accident, and yet I've been penalised for standing in my lawful rights. So it's a point of principle that I have been found a criminal, and I've got all these points on my licence, and I've got a huge insurance premium, and yet I am actually, I believe, a very safe driver. So those were my 6 points back to the justice system. Anyway, there's the postman. Kobe's barking at the postman, if you can hear him. Anyway, so that's my 2 pennants. Let's come to Ray, who's got his physical hand up, if not the yellow hand. Hi, Ray. Can you unmute yourself and come on? You have to unmute. Did I ask you to unmute? Is it working? Oh my goodness, I've realised I'm on the wrong Wi-Fi again. I'm on my slow Wi-Fi and I should be on my Elon Musk Starlink superfast AI empowering satellite link. I'm gonna change Wi-Fi, so we may freeze, but I'm hoping I won't lose the call. Hold on. Okay, so I'm hoping. Have you got me back? Yeah, I think I can see you. Good, we're back. Right, Ray, let's do this now and see if we can get you on. Can you unmute, sweetie? I'm asking you to unmute. Let's come to Roger and see if he can unmute, and then I'll come to you next, Ray. Can you unmute yourself, Rog?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, great. Oh, that's good. So Ray, we'll come to you next. If you can sort out your audio, you might need to phone in. But Rog, I'm going to put it on speaker view so we can see you. Hey, Rog, how you doing?
I'm okay, love, thanks. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. It always helps, doesn't it, to have blue sky and sunshine?
Of course, yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
spring-like here today, which is lovely.
Oh, well, it's a bit overcast here today, but never mind. Anyway, I just want to thank you for all you do for us and for hosting today, because you've got a lot of things on your mind, to deal with. So it takes you some time for these things. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you with regard to my court case, which you accompanied me to Harrogate. When I received the notice of the fine, the decision on the fine from Harrogate Court, there was a note there to say if I wanted to complain, I should contact the single justice system, which seems rather strange. But anyway, that's what I was told in the document, and so I did that.
Yeah.
And I've received absolutely no response. Well, apart from the acknowledgement of my email, I've received absolutely no substantive response.
Yeah. Well, this is the interesting thing, Roger, that exactly the same. When I phoned the court and I got my verdict and then I got the paperwork through, she just said write in. And it was Michael who found the form, which is on the government website. It was he who found the form and sent it to me. And it's a 7-page form. So it's like, as always with these things, they make it super complicated. Not the easiest thing in the world. But it wasn't obvious from all of the paperwork. No one said about the existence of this form, but he said, this is the form. It's a magic form. It will get the magistrate's court decision cancelled.
I know.
So they're sneaky because they don't let you know, in other words.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I don't think it's too late. I should just say, sorry, Rog, I'm going to just say this for the benefit of everyone. You only have 15 business days, like Monday to Friday, 15 days after the date of the court hearing to put that form in. You can put it in after that, but you have to have a very good reason for the delay. So again, they deliberately make it, they don't tell you about the existence of this form, so I believe, so that by the time you found out about it, you run out of time. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
It's okay. Well, that is a problem for me because I don't know. I mean, you were with me in the court, and we don't know whether one of those people was a judge or not. We saw 3 people, which we assumed were magistrates, but were they? I have no idea.
I think usually when there's 3, Rog, you have 1 judge and then you have 2 magistrates either side. Yeah. So it was a man and 2 women, wasn't it? I seem to recall. It's all a bit of a blur.
I can't remember. But anyway, the point is that on the form, which I have to complete within, as you say, a limited amount of time, it asks for the name of the judge. Well, I have no idea. So I wrote to the to the court to ask for the name of the judge, and they haven't responded at all.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, is I only found out because I phoned the court and I asked the question and they told me, and then I Googled his name, I Googled him and discovered that he'd actually put a farmer in prison for dredging a river put him in prison for 12 months, this guy, and someone then wrote to me and said that they were from Kidderminster, and this judge allegedly had a reputation of running star chambers and was almost struck off 18 months ago for other complaints. Now, I had to look up what star chambers means, but it apparently means massively severe punishment. So he's like a Rottweiler judge. And I wondered then whether they'd specifically put him in with no magistrates, just him, to deal with me, knowing who I was. But maybe I'm just being paranoid. But and I think Dean's instinct was very right. I think he was on the verge of putting me in prison for contempt. So I think I had a very lucky escape. Although having said that, if I had to go to prison for the cause, not that I would wish to or would relish that, because I have a lot of commitments to my family and my clients and my programs and everything. But if it came to that and I had to do that for the cause, I'd have to walk through that fire, you know, because I do believe that this is really important for us to not just, lots of people have said, oh, just don't bother, it's too much hassle. And it is a massive hassle. Even with the form, you have to support it, you have to then copy it 2 times, you have to send it to the prosecutor's office, which they don't tell you the address, you have to find that out, and the magistrate's court. Both of them have to receive it within 15 days. You have to send it by special delivery or drop it in. They make it as complicated as possible, and it did. It took me 3 hours to complete the form and to do it, all this paperwork, without a photocopier, just a printer, a scanner.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyhow,
Well,
so it's not, yeah.
I won't be able to comply with the. Did you say 15 days?
15 business days, so Monday to
Yeah,
Friday.
yeah. I can't comply with that because I don't have the information from the court.
Well,
They
exactly,
haven't.
and we didn't know, I didn't know that. That's why going through this process, I mean, this is why Dean said, Dean learned everything he learned about common law through going through court processes and then researching and getting lots of input from other people. So in other words, us sharing our experience will hopefully help everyone else going through the same process, because it's filled with banana skins and traps and tricks.
Yeah.
Throughout, it's like going into a labyrinth with lots of, you know, deliberate, like a Minotaur's cave or something, like
Yeah.
Jason and the Argonauts, where he's sailing to get the golden fleece, and there's all these challenges along the way. It's
Yeah,
fighting off all
absolutely.
these skeletons and all these things.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
so Rog, I'd persevere though, and don't let them off the hook, and phone the court. I'd phone them and ask them what's going on.
well, what you've got to understand is that when you phone that organisation, you've got to spend half the day listening to some music.
I know.
And it's, you know,
I
so
know.
it's not an easy thing to do.
And with Kidderminster, on many occasions when I phoned them, when you finally got through the press button to the thing that you need to speak to, it then hangs up on you, which I assume means they're overloaded, they can't take any more calls, and they just cut you off. So
Yeah.
I had to call multiple times. I mean, literally, the justice system is, I think, on its knees. I really do. And I think it's because of people like us who are not just, who are questioning and asserting our rights and questioning the system. There's so many people now. It's because they're issuing so many of these fines and ULEZ and millions, literally computers are spitting them out, millions of them, like every week, for all these, you know, bus lane violations, speeding violations, you know, ULEZ, you name it, clean air zone, whatnot, on top of all of the corporate bullshit of, you know, bills and debts and everyone scrabbling for this money and trying to get county court judgments for bailiffs so they can send the bailiffs in, like literally millions of these things. And like the system, it doesn't have enough people to cope, you know, with all of the people who are questioning and challenging and saying, no, I'll go to court and I'm not going to accept your bullshit single justice procedure. I want a proper trial, thanks very much. So this is what's in truth going on. Anyway, Rog, look, we've got lots of hands up. I'm like conscious I'm rabbiting on as usual. I do want to also get Ray back on, and I'll come to you, Patrick and Eileen. So, Rog, can I come back to you if you want to speak again, sweetie, or do you want to? Is there anything else you wanted to say?
Well, I just want to say that really, I can't do very much about appealing against the conviction because I just don't have the information that I need. So I'm going to Thailand on Wednesday, and I won't be back for a month. So I'll have to see what I can do after that. But I guess the guidance that I should be able to get from you, from your experience, will help me when I come back.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's at the point now. Just enjoy Thailand, Rog, and then pick it all up when you get back.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. Okay, look. So I'll let you
Okay.
move on. Yeah, you
Thanks for
can move
coming
on.
on.
Look.
Come on later if you want to raise another point.
Well, I'll see how things go. If there's some response I can give,
Yeah.
to some of the other participants, which is useful, then I will
Okay.
come on again. Okay, look.
All right. Thank you. And I can't see Ray on the call. So I'm going to come to you, Patrick. So Ray, if you're there, put your hand up, like your yellow hand symbol, because that brings you to the top of the call. Oh, there's two screens of people, so it's difficult for me to see everyone now. Okay, Patrick, are you? Yeah, hi.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi. Hi, Patrick.
Yeah,
Welcome.
sort of hesitate to even bring this up. It'll probably get me nothing but trouble. But, I was noticing, there's this hostage transfer going on in Israel or Gaza. And there was these two kids that were transferred, but they're both dead. Anyway, the Israeli come out and say, oh no, these weren't killed by Israeli bombs. They were killed by people with their bare hands. They choked them, and then to cover up their crime, they mutilated them. And this happened in October of 73, so like a year and a half ago. And it's like, I see no evidence for this whatsoever. It's just a simple claim. And it makes me think, like, how do you combat lies like this? So you look at the big picture. You've got Gaza completely destroyed, children incinerated, bombed, burned. But what's the story? Oh, this one Jewish child was badly treated, and not only that, was deliberately murdered. And then to cover it up, and I think this is like the Holocaust already again. I don't like to say the Holocaust. I call it the Holocaust. You got German cities completely ruined, bombed, burned, destroyed. And what's the story? Oh, these Jews were badly treated in prison. And of course, it goes way beyond that into exaggerations about gas chambers. And I mean, it just so exasperates me because it's like we're living it all over again. It's a hoax. The Holocaust should not be called a Holocaust. It's a holo-hoax. It's a complete hoax. There was no gas chambers. There was no program to exterminate Jews. The same with this Gaza thing. Now it's on television. It's harder to do, but it doesn't stop them. Oh, no. This is all to do about some Jewish child. And then you got a bunch of scriptwriters on the story. And I find it so exasperating because it's like, to me, this is one of the biggest lies that this society is founded on. This Holocaust lie, then everything becomes far right, becomes dangerous. Why? Because that's like Hitler. And you got the German election. Oh, that's because like Hitler. And like we're under the spell of this myth, literally under this myth. And everybody's afraid to say it, including me. I'm wondering, am I going to get into trouble for even talking about this? I'll be called an anti-Semite, or maybe somebody here thinks an anti-Semite, maybe they'll report me, blah, blah, blah. This is the kind of society we're living in now. Anyway, I thought, fuck it, I don't even care. Just come and get me. That's what you want to do. All right, that's it.
Wow, Patrick. So yes, that is a very hot potato there that you just touched on, which may well be quite activating, shall we say, for some on the call or some people watching the recording. But this is an open discussion forum. We do not censor. We welcome all shades of opinion. We support freedom of speech and your right to speak your truth on what you believe. So there's no judgment from me in here, and I do feel it's important for us to speak our truth and be authentic. And I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and they've kind of measured it that the most powerful vibration is not actually love, it's authenticity. It's speaking our truth. And so it's very important for us to speak our truth. So please don't feel that you're going to be made wrong. And I'm hoping no one will make you wrong for that. And let's open a discussion and a debate around it. And this is the thing, isn't it? To be honest, we don't actually know the truth of the news of anything, really, unless we actually witness something with our own, everything's hearsay, to put it back into legal. Everything's hearsay unless we actually physically witnessed. So we're always at the mercy of whoever's behind the camera, whoever's doing the edit. Everything can be manipulated. And now that there's AI, you don't even know whether it's real or not. It could be CGI. Who knows? And so this is the thing. It's like, it's very easy to get drawn into these situations, to get very angry. But remembering at some level, it is all a reality show. It is all his story, history. And actually, given that we don't know, and it's all hearsay, and getting upset about this stuff, which may or may not be true, I'm sort of taking the view is, whilst it's good to be abreast of what's going on, the shit show, and what's going on in the reality show, personally, I'm focusing as much attention as I can and energy on what I want to create, things I can control, things I can create, and I'm one of many who are co-creating an alternative future reality through my visioning, through my work, through empowering people, particularly through metaphysical principles and business. And that's all I can do. So, and holding space on these calls for an alternative to the propaganda, shall we say. So thanks for sharing that, Patrick. Really appreciate
thanks, Rachel.
that.
Thank you very much.
Lots of love. And coming on to Eileen now. Hi, Eileen.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for hosting again. I'm lightening it up a bit. Can you all hear me?
Yes, can hear you.
Good. Oh, good. Well, it goes back 30 years when I took over being chair of my son's school association, the fundraising. And this is when he first entered the senior school. So I was new to the school. And because I'd done a lot of voluntary work at the previous school, I was more or less encouraged to be the chair. And we were applying for a license to sell alcohol at one of our events. So I had to go to the law court to apply for the license in person. And there were about 100 guides and brownies and you name it. They're all there passing through. They all sort of swore on the Bible. Through. But by that time, I'd sort of left Christianity, so I affirmed. So the judge thought he'd have some fun. So he started questioning me. And have you applied for a license before? No, I haven't, no. Has the school applied for one? I'm not sure. Why don't you know? And it was questioning me, and I thought, I'm on trial. It felt so uncomfortable. And I thought, I've got to get this license. I've got to be so careful what I say, because he could deny the license. But it's so obvious. They were just having some fun with me. But it really felt so uncomfortable because I had to leave there with a license.
Did you get it?
Yes, I did.
Well done.
I was just having some fun, but it's all very well having some fun. But, when I said that's the only time I've been in court. So I really feel sorry for anybody that's actually on trial for something. Like yourself, I've got great admiration now. You can hold your own in those situations. All mine was just to get a license to sell alcohol. And as I said, he was having some fun with me, but it didn't feel like that because of the way they are, So I just thought I'd throw that in.
Well, I would imagine that there is a lot of power. If you're appointed to be a judge and you're sitting in that chair on that bench high up,
yes,
with this sort of royals, the lion and the unicorn behind you, and you're looking down, and the people are brought in, and you've got all this power. It's like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so they really don't like it when someone actually questions
Yeah, as I said, it was a terrible experience because I said I had to be so careful what I said, and
Yes.
because he was all the time looking for opportunities to come back at me as if I was lying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
There was
yeah,
nothing to lie about, you know.
yeah. So, were you, I mean, it's quite an interesting thing here. What are the conditions of getting a license and what are
This is
the hoops?
30 years ago. This is
Okay,
30
so,
years ago.
okay, because I'd be interested to know
Yeah.
what grounds they have. I'd be interested to, I'm interested in law and legislation to know what hoops, the hurdles they put in place to jump
I think
through.
it's just a formality, isn't it? If you're going to make money out of selling alcohol on a premises that doesn't have a license, it's just a license for one night, isn't it? And we were fundraising.
Yes.
So
But what
that's
I'm
all it
saying
was
is
for.
that there's
Yeah.
probably some legislation with a
Yeah.
whole list of different conditions
Yes.
or reasons why a judge cannot grant one.
Yeah.
So this is the thing, isn't it? Is
Yeah.
to like what's the rules and the regulations?
Yeah. No,
That
but
yeah,
there was no way I was going to come back and question anything. There was no way I was
yeah,
going to sort of, I had to really bite my lips.
yeah,
I couldn't come back at all because I knew he would just go further and further.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then he could be nasty, for no
True.
apparent reason.
It's all good practice, though. It's all good practice going because the more times you go, the more
Yeah.
practice, the less scary it is.
Yeah.
So it's actually quite good practice to.
Yeah. I think it was like that with my son, love and freedom.
Oh, love and freedom. Is that your son? Okay, fab.
Times.
You see, this is the thing about going to court. The first time I went to court was over some parking fine, and it's good to experiment with a court where you're not going to get put in prison,
Yeah.
as opposed to some offence where it could be like it's kind of more like life or death sort of situation.
Yeah.
The stakes are higher because the fear levels are higher. So you go in and practice on something that's inconsequential.
Yeah.
And then build your confidence so that when when you're going in and really standing in your truth, it's like you're not consumed by fear.
Yeah.
So thanks for sharing that, Eileen.
It's a pleasure. Thank
Okay,
you.
Thanks for coming on. Okay, Roger, you've come on before, so I'm going to come to Val and then we'll come to Roger. We'll just get as many voices on the call as we can. Hey Val, it is
Hiya.
Val, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Hi Val.
Hi. Yeah, I wanted to just reply to Patrick actually, only in that my husband and I recently started reading a book called The Falsification of History by John Hamer, and that has been a real eye-opener. And basically, he's done an incredible amount of research, quite well known within the sort of awake circles, but he's done an incredible amount of research. I mean, we're boggled at what he's come up with, and I have no reason to disbelieve him. And so many of the myths of, how wonderful Churchill was. Well, he wasn't, and all sorts of stuff. We've only got so far along. It's chronological, so we've only just started on this First and Second World War. But it's been a huge eye opener. But also, I feel like I can only take it in bite-sized chunks, little bits of it, because once you start diving down that big rabbit hole, it's like I could get really depressed because you start to think everything is a lie, and it's a conspiracy, So you kind of have to get a balance, I think. So I just have a little bite-sized chunk of the book, or might be looking at stuff elsewhere, and then kind of back off. But I think one thing I have learned over the last few years is that I can have more than one idea or one concept and sort of be okay with that, or more than one opinion and at the same time. And I think that's also because I have sort of spiritual practices and beliefs which kind of make me step back even further, if you like, and look at it as an overall picture.
Yes.
I mean, one of the things that I'm finding is that people are very, very polarized over Trump, for example. And I've had friends go, "Oh, he's terrible and done this and done that," and I've got other friends who say he's the second coming of Christ, and I'm going, actually, neither of those are necessarily true, but I'm kind of seeing him as a catalyst, whether you like him or not. So I'm trying to take a sort of more detached view and not get embroiled in all the drama, and look at it from a different perspective. So I think it's quite useful or quite a good idea to not get too involved, but just to be able to step back and evaluate situations, from a different perspective. So,
Yes.
yeah, that's really all I wanted to say.
Okay, Val. Well, thanks for coming on and raising this, because of course, and I particularly kind of know this through doing a lot of plant medicine, is like the whole of this is an illusion.
Yeah.
Because it's Maya, it's the illusion, it's the waking dream. So it's a bit like a very vivid dream. It seems really real, but actually it's all just energy and it's all illusion. And the only truth is actually what lies beyond the veil, which is God, which is pure love. It's like the blue sky that's but beyond the clouds. So we're here in this labyrinth, in this false matrix, and then these Masonic forces have locked it down. So of course, like Churchill would have been deeply involved in mystery schools, wouldn't he? Like
Absolutely,
Skull and Bones or Masons, and all of these kind of like people who've had this public school training, who are there to keep the system in place, like the justice system. It's very Masonic. So all based on these metaphysical, like using energy to lock down power, basically using metaphysical principles to lock down power in the false matrix, and to hold our attention, and it's our energy and our attention and our fear that are the fabric of the false matrix. So that's the thing. Absolutely. Is the more we do this alignment, the more we speak our truth, the more that we're authentic and we're not frightened of the system. When you go into those situations, and I think Rog said it on the love call about like the walls of Jericho coming down, speaking truth, sound, collapsing the illusion, and that's what's happening now. So many people are piercing the veil, light is flooding in, there's no place for the Wetiko to hide, so it's all being seen, all of in its grotesqueness, like what's happening in Gaza, like the Holocaust, like was that just a grotesque lie? And so it's like it's and that purification, it's like the Wetiko is literally like Dracula not getting into his coffin before sunrise, turns to dust. And that's what they're truly terrified of,
Yeah, I agree. I think it's all a distraction, really. Even if it's true, it's still a distraction.
A giant reality show.
Yeah.
A bit like the Truman Show, where he starts to question, and all starts things. The matrix is glitching, and a light falls in the street, like one of the studio lights, and questioning the illusion that he's lived with his whole life. And it's Truman Show is such a great movie, because essentially that is the message that
we're watching it again.
we're in a giant illusion, and they are the directors and the producers who control it are desperately trying to keep our focus on the illusion, to keep it going, and we're just laughing at it now, and we're just like, okay, right.
It's looking at it from different angles, isn't it, as well? It would be very easy to get sucked into the distress and the wrongs that have been done to people and throughout history. But I think it's really good to step back from that as well, and to see, like you say, start to break out of the matrix and to see what's going on for what it really is. So.
Yeah, which is why forgiveness, love, compassion, Ho'oponopono, they're all such powerful tools, because essentially they don't keep us in that place of hatred and judgment. They dissolve it and allow us to be in love, because love is what lies beyond the false matrix. So the more that we're in love, which is why the system goes crazy when you use the word love. It's like trying to get people to use love in my name, even though it's in my name legally and lawfully. trying to get people to actually acknowledge that and use it. It's like, wow. They don't don't like
it
to use it.
dissolves things, doesn't it?
Yeah. So
That's
very
thanks.
interesting. Thanks, Val. I'm going to come to Corrine next and then back to you, Rog. You might end up having the last word, Rog. I'll try not to talk all over this call so much. Get into trouble for that.
Hi.
Hi, Corrine.
Hi. Sorry, everything's when I turn off my Bluetooth speaker, it's all very quiet here. Okay. Oh, great. Brilliant. Thank you for all you're doing, Rachel, and standing up. Brilliant. Thank you. I was last weekend, just the other day, yesterday. I was at the big Cabby community assembly gathering locally near Somerset, near Frome. And one of the things that we talked about, John, who set up, started the whole thing, talked about the peacekeepers course and also all the different things to do with the courts. But also I felt really strongly that it's really important for us people to get together to do role play and to really begin to exercise using the muscle for when, if we are challenged, that at least we have more experience of.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I wanted to say, really talking about inspiring people, this last few days ago we listened to Del Bigtree talking on the MAHA, the whole Make America Healthy Again conference. He was talking to journalists. He was really calling them out for not doing their job properly. And actually, I just felt this man is such a force for good, and he's not afraid of speaking out. And I just thought, my God, what an extraordinary man to speak out in this way, truth to power. And then also we listened to, with Dan Aston Gregory, Dr. Verkerk talking. And that was just 2-3 days ago. And again, it's that same thing of, gosh, these people are so full of knowledge and wisdom and compassion and strength and courage. And I felt really, really deeply humbled by them. And also, Rachel, what you do, for our collective, because you are at the forefront of a lot of this challenge. And that's all I really want to say. So I kind of honor you, and I honor, like Roger, you stood up, and everyone, all of us who are really doing the best to make things better.
Yeah, thanks, Corrine. Thanks for that acknowledgement. And yeah, I absolutely agree. This shit show has brought, it's brought people. So many people have found their voice.
Yeah.
And walking through like all the fear and the threats. Like, you think of all those journalists who write this bullshit, because of course they're frightened. They're frightened of losing their jobs.
Yeah.
You look at how many people have been cancelled because they've stood out. All the doctors who've been struck off, like Dr. Sam White, everyone that, it's just because the system is so gripped and it's controlled by money. So it is challenging.
Yeah.
But important, strong times.
Yeah. And also, just to say, the other day, a partner came back and said how moved he was that he'd just met someone who had been adamantly pro-jab and all of that, absolutely in the narrative, and everything has just dropped away. He's done a deep dive and suddenly realizes what's going on, that we, the conspiracy theorists, or who were challenging and questioning, actually a lot of what we were saying actually turned out to be true.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, thank you. And onwards.
Thanks for coming on, Corrine. Thank you. I'm going to come back to Roger, and then Agniezska, I'll come to you, and it would be great if you could put your video on, Agniezska. Rog, let's come to you again, sweetie.
Well, I just want to say how disappointed I am, at hearing Patrick I'm not disappointed at Patrick, just the fact that he's using the word Semite, because what they've managed to do, these Zionists, what they've managed to do is to make the word Semite interchangeable with the word Jew, which of course is complete ridicule. Semite is a language. It's not a person or a religion or a sect or anything. It's a language. And it's the same language used by the Arabs. So I just wanted to make that point. And why is it important? Well, because people see the Israeli government as being a Jewish government, which it is not. It's a Zionist government. And Zionism was born out of the Khazars from the 9th century. The Khazars, they're a horrible group of people, nation of people, decided they wanted to do a PR exercise and call themselves Jews. So now that's woven into the narrative as though they are Jews. But the Khazars, they are not Jews. They call themselves, well, at least they are called Ashkenazi Jews, as opposed to Sephardic Jews, which are the real Jews, you know, who really did have their heritage in Palestine. So I just wanted to make that point. It may not sound very important. I think it is, because it confuses people. So really, just to fortify what I'm saying is, Semite does not mean Jew. It absolutely does not. It's a language. So, you know, really, we should, if anybody is against the Israeli government, they should be regarded as anti-Zionist, not anti-Semitic, which word they have now used to brainwash people to think that Semite is Jew. Anyway, I'm not going to go on any further. I've said everything I need to do. I'll let somebody else have a say.
Thanks, Roger. So I'm going to come to Agniezska next, who's just also put a post in the chat. But I just wanted to say that this is one of the techniques of the forces, the powers that shouldn't be, that are holding the system in, is labelling. Because the minute they can put a label on something, then you can put it in a box. Because they're constantly trying to put people in pigeonholes like anti-vaxxer, anti-Semite, and also in the health system. Oh, they've got ADHD, and oh, right, so let's give them that drug. So the system is constantly trying to attach labels, which is why it's fun to fox the system, is because they can't put a label on you. It's like with me, it's like, is she a dragon? Is she a capitalist? Is she a witch? Is she an anti-vaxxer? Is she? No, I'm actually just a spiritual being having a human experience, and I am pure light. And actually I can shapeshift into anything. It's like that. So they desperately need labels, like the tabloid newspapers, so they can, you know, they can attach a label to people. That's all that it is. So yeah, let's try and shed these labels and the need to label, because labeling then leads to division and judgment, which is what keeps the false matrix in place. Yeah. Okay, Agniezska, I'm going to come to you next. Thanks, Rog. Thanks for coming on again. Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hiya.
Great to be here, and thank you for everyone's contributions. I loved what you said about the resonance of authenticity, and it really rings true in my heart. I love connecting with this group. It gives me always this like feeling of connection in the fight. But really, like yourself, I'm shifting the focus of how I am turning up in the world, and having gone through a lot of letters and contesting this, that, and saying like I'm not gonna pay. I very years of that. I'm now focusing my energy on what I want to co-create and what I want to bring through. And what I've sent you in the chat now is an invitation to a show in quite a mainstream context, but I'm bringing my sacred arts work, including some channeled videos with light language. So I don't know, I'm stepping up in courage of like showing this work in context that might not necessarily be fully understood or, I don't know, embraced. But yeah, I feel ready. And I would love to invite you. And I've got a few complimentary tickets to those of you who will be in London at the beginning of March. I've sent you a 20% discount. You can share it with friends. I know not many of you are in London, but yeah, I'm connecting to invite you to this event, and I look forward to spreading positivity and good news. There's so much darkness happening, so I'm just gonna throw in some light in here.
Wonderful. So it's the Other Art Fair in Shoreditch, and it's being sponsored by Saatchi Art, and it's www.theotherartfair.com/London, and there's a discount code LASCUS20. In fact, what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to just let me see if I can.
Would this help? And I can send it to you on your email as well.
Yeah. So what I'll do, Agniezska, is I'll put it into the notes to below the video. I'll put it underneath the video when I upload it to YouTube, so people can click on the link and get the tickets. How much does it cost to attend?
£20, 18, something like that. Around 20.
So it's not a lot of money. And
yeah, and there will be many different artists, so there's something to do, like to inspire your creativity. I love attending as well as featuring my work there.
Beautiful.
And yeah, I really would love to share as much as I can the messages, those downloads that I receive from Water, and she just comes through. And I haven't been so courageous about it before, but I think I reached a stage that I really don't care what people think. I know
it's so important because water is life.
Yeah.
You said to hear about serene Chalice Well mandalas, first time made available to public. Tell us about your Chalice Well
so I have
mandalas.
I've been mainly a super purist person, that I would photograph water, and water would show herself, and all the beings that she holds. So there was like a dialogue. She would show me, oh, there is an animal spirit guide like floating about. It was just very visual engagement. And then I thought, let me just try play with it a bit. And I went to Chalice Gardens on one of the, I think it was summer solstice. And it was a rainy day. And I captured beautiful droplets of water just sitting on flower petals. And I played with it in Photoshop, and I created these beautiful, highly saturated mandalas. So just converted water drops into a graphic-y, fully energizing images.
Beautiful.
So, that will be there as well. And yeah, I'm very excited and would like to share my excitement with everyone who would like to come.
Beautiful, Agniezska. Thank you.
Thank you so much
for raising that. And I think this kind of does go back to what Patrick was saying about the horror. It's like when we look at horror, it literally imprints it in the water in our body, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and so that's why it's really important to look at beauty. Do you want to talk a bit to that, because of the power of water to hold an imprint?
Absolutely. And even when Patrick was speaking, my body shrank. We are virtually water. We are made of around 80% water, and visuals and words and resonance, the sounds, but it travels. Water resonates with its environment. So whatever we are receiving, if it's graphically stressful or traumatic, it travels to us on a vibrational level and it affects how we feel. And the more you surround yourself with negativity, people who say mean things to you, when you expose yourself to negative news, I'm not saying like to bypass it all, yeah. But if this is a constant in your life, it will affect your whole system, your whole nervous system, and it can lead to illness as well. That's why I think it's very important to balance it all. You know, we're all exposed to stress, but then like making sure that you have an opportunity to release that, and I go to nature, spend some time with the waters, just allow it to somatically shift out and away from the system, because it all gets stored on a cell level. And we just need to cleanse, purify. That's why yesterday I went, it takes me time, but I go and get myself water that is pure from a natural reserve in Kent. I bring it in my demijohns and I taste the difference. Yesterday I was drinking just pure water and I see how much goodness it does to me, you know, on my health, to how I feel drinking it.
Yeah.
So water, I could talk about it forever, but when you start opening your heart to it, it will start as well communicating to you. I've got this one patch of Thames, like river, over the Dartford Bridge, and whenever I go through, I just receive messages in my heart directly, like like hello friend, how are you doing, and like we're doing this now. And I remember a few years ago I just sent loads of love to the water in that spot, and I received an instant information back, oh my, we love you too, it's great.
Oh, that's beautiful. And the power of water to clear your energy field. So like if any, like that's why it's really fun to, like with Kobe, to take him to the beach, just to be by the sea, and it clears my energy field. You know, if I'm dealing with some kind of gnarly forms in the system, and I can feel my energy kind of going down the plug hole. It's like an instant remedy, isn't it? To go into nature, but I'm finding especially going to the sea. So powerful.
And you are all more lucky than me. I sense that you've got even faster access to clear, beautiful waters. So even if it's like cold now, just dip your toes in. When I get there, even in the winter, and I hear the calling, I just jump in full on for a second and out. And that resets, your brain just like shifts into a different mode. You feel like, okay, I can do anything now.
Yeah. And it's interesting here because there's lots of places which like a mouth, like Dartmouth and Teignmouth, and like all of the mouths, like Portsmouth and Plymouth, where the river meets the sea, and so this morning there's this little brook which joins the sea, so you've got the fresh water, because Kobe tries to drink out of the sea, and of course he's like, ooh, what's this? It's too salty. And then you've got the fresh water coming in, and it's so beautiful when the fresh water meets the salt water. There's like a sort of magical fusion, and like it's come home, it's reached home, and then it's kind of like a giant washing machine, the sea, like to cleanse with all the salt, like dishwasher salt or whatever.
The salt, it's just purified.
Incredible. These two different types of water, the natural living waters, and then the sea waters, and then you've got the clouds, all of the rain and the snow, and it's really mind-boggling when you start to think about how beautiful that process is, that closed system. I did actually post, sorry I'm going on now, but I think it's important, and we did start late. I did post a short video I'm in some kind of conscious group, and they posted a video with a Lakota woman who was, water had come up into her house, all of these gallons of water, and she was like, and it was a real message. Mm-hmm. The water had like literally burst into her home. She's obviously living out in the kind of in the country somewhere, And so she was forced to have this conversation with the water and asking it to, like, please don't flow to my store and please don't upset the neighbours. And it kind of went two ways and then disappeared into the ground. But it called her to put prayers into the water, and it was just this beautiful, it's a lovely little video, just 15 minutes long. I don't know if you saw it, but
this one, no, I've heard the songs.
yeah.
Water,
So
not this one. Sounds great. I don't know if you've got it available. I know I would love to see it.
yeah, I'll send it to you, but I'll put that link below this as well, because it's such a brilliant subject. Because when you really land the power of water, because it's the essence of feng shui, isn't it? Wind and water, so qi, like in the air and the water, and just attending to those two things, really fresh prana, qi, and clear natural living water, just attending to those two things, the feng shui in your body and in your home, because it makes a massive transformation to your whole health and outlook and energy field. Yeah, very fascinating.
I'm yet to embrace that prana a bit more. I think I was a bit obsessed with water for a number of years, but it's coming. I really feel it.
Yeah.
All this, I know I've taken a bit long to talk about the waters, but it's difficult not to.
It's good. It's a good subject for us to close on. So thank you, Agniezska, for coming on. I'm going to come back to gallery view and ask everyone to give us a wave. So thanks for everyone for staying on and sending you lots of love. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time. It may well be Sass next time. She was supposed to do today, but she's helping this lady. So I've come on again. So it's going to be either me or Sass in 2 weeks' time. Sending you lots of love. Have a great new moon on Friday. New starts. And and actually it's in Pisces, which is essentially the essence of the sea and connection to source. So good that we ended on that note of water. Lots of love. Have a great week. Bye for now.